So this is a story that's going to need to be broken up to a few parts. Think of it like Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3. It's like some Furiosa Poor Thing stuff going on here. But today we are talking about the drama surrounding the Edmonton Oilers, Kevin Bieksa, Darnell Nurse, Jason Gregor, a bunch of names, because when it comes to Darnell Nurse, his performance in this series against the Dallas Stars has not been great, and we'll see whether or not that continues or not heading into today's festivities. We have ourselves yet another game. Woohoo. But Darnell Nurse in the entire postseason so far, 3 points, 16 games played, 32 points in 81 regular season games. He is a minus 12 in the playoffs. And if you take a look at his numbers so far, I mean, he was a whole bunch of minuses against Vancouver, -1 in the Game 7 victory, -2 against Dallas in Game number 3. Darnell has been catching a lot of flack, and a lot of strays too, because admittedly, he and Cody Ceci, when they were paired together, they were really terrible. Splitting up that pairing has seemed to do wonders for the team, although Cody Ceci's numbers still don't look all too great, no matter who he plays with. Darnell Nurse has gotten a tad better. He's blocking some shots with his behind, and then he's scoring some own goals off of his behind. It's been kind of weird for Darnell Nurse, and the Edmonton media has gone out there and really pushed the narrative onto these Oilers players about Nurse. We had ourselves a bunch of interviews going out there talking about this guy. Connor McDavid had to step in to defend Darnell Nurse against the media when they were asking Stuart Skinner about Nurse's struggles. You had Corey Perry go out there and have himself a few conversations about it too. This post made by Shadowcaster0476 says, yeah, Corey Perry, during his interview, he was asked about the media coverage of Nurse, and without blinking an eye, he says he has no idea what he's talking about, and he hasn't seen it. BS he didn't know, but this is what a former MVP does for a team and teammates. He just shuts it down, so there's nothing to talk about, and talks up Darnell Nurse. Bravo, Corey Perry. There also was a conversation or two with Darnell Nurse himself. There was an interview where they were asking him about the guys that might go out there and replace his minutes, and he was very standoffish in that interview. You can see that there's a little bit of tension here between the media, the player, and the environment as a whole. I mean, the series is 2-2. They're fine. The fact is, it's a best 2 out of 3 now at this point, and all you gotta do is just win. And win like you did against the Stars on Wednesday. So it's not the end of the world here, but Darnell Nurse has not been great in this series in particular. So this is where everybody gets a little bit excited, because you had yourselves Kevin Bieksa on the Hockey Night in Canada broadcast go out there and say that the Edmonton reporters are the Edmonton meat because they're raw, dead, and dumb. It's also the best thing that has been said on a Sportsnet broadcast in years. There also was a video of Kelly Hrudey on the same broadcast reacting with an oh face when Kevin Bieksa called out the Edmonton media for being raw, dead, and dumb. Honestly, this isn't like... Okay, I don't want to say anything that will incriminate me because I did go to journalism school. I do have connections to this world. But there is a reason why Bieksa is calling the Edmonton media these words, and if you wanted to go out there and talk about just the way they bagged on Darnell Nurse, they're asking everybody about Nurse, even in former years. Why are you so pissy, Leon? Why are you so pissy? And the piling on of extra stuff that doesn't really need to be there, the dumb questions sometimes. Edmonton media, I'd say, out of all the medias in Canada, has a rep for going out there and bringing these questions more to the forefront than some of the other medias here. Toronto is a lot more critical in the radio. You have Vancouver that's, I don't know, a little bit standoffish too, but not really as dumb as some of these Edmonton questions can get. It's a very distinct identity, and a lot of people went out there and said, yo, yeah, Kevin Bieksa, woo, big dub for him, right? I mean, there was even a moment in an earlier broadcast where he went out there and was like, okay, yeah, Mark Spector. Kevin Bieksa better watch what he says about the media because Mark Spector is going to write a strongly worded article or letter to the president of the PHWA. And this is a video of Kevin Bieksa saying, yeah, okay, Mark Spector. So he's kind of in on the jokes, right? Everybody acknowledges what's going on in Edmonton, but It all took itself to a new level today when Jason Gregor tweeted this out. It was from earlier this morning. It's got 200,000 views. Mark Messier, 7 Stanley Cup Finals and 6 rings, says Nurse needs to look at himself and play through it. Kevin Bieksa, who won 7 playoff series, takes a shot at the media about plus-minus when Nurse wasn't even asked about it. A champion's approach and outlook are much different. And of course, what Jason Gregor's intention is with this tweet is to say, hey, Kevin Bieksa's wrong, and the guy doesn't have the experience to back up what it is that he's saying. Mark Messier, on the other hand, does have the experience, and he had a much more kind comment when talking about Darnell Nurse. Oh, you could totally see the difference between a champion and somebody who did not win, like Kevin Bieksa. Pretty much taking shots here, right? And you can see right away, 587 replies, way more replies than likes and retweets. If the legitimacy of a media member is measured by their NHL career, what does that say about you? What have you won? Oh, here we go. It didn't take that long. Now, I admire your courage for attempting a comeback. Now go check the comments. A lot of people are going out there and talking about the Edmonton media with this one, because you're just making BX's point even more clear here. The Edmonton media going out there and defending themselves. Even J-Fresh got in on the action. Kevin Bieksa won 7 playoff series. The Edmonton media, yeah, they won 5 Stanley Cups. And then you had yourselves the Reddit comments. Gregor appears butthurt after Bieksa calls out the Oilers media. Why are you so pissy, Jason? Edmonton media is such a joke. These are Edmonton fans going out there and saying this stuff. I feel it's a pretty commonly held opinion amongst fans of hockey markets. Edmonton media is such a joke. With that tweet, Gregor just admitted what Bieksa said. I got quite the chuckle out of it. The best part is that Gregor likely thinks that he landed a big shot here. A champion's approach and outlook are much different. Okay, meat. Here's the tweet so you don't have to click on the link. Right. Former Vancouver Canucks defenseman Kevin Bieksa has won Best Sports Analyst at the 2024 Canadiens Screen Awards, and Gregor has won what? Gregor is one of the worst when it comes to bullying his opinion on people. The guy is never ever wrong. Some of his best moments had to do with him trying to tell ex-NHL players how the game is played. This is the primary reason I can't listen to his show, bullying guests and texters, going as far as calling them dumb, but when he is called dumb, he gets really butthurt about it. You know, I personally don't listen to the Gregor show, but I'll acknowledge that there is a lot of fans of it, and, you know, shows will get their critiques once in a while. My show gets a lot of critiques too, but at the end of the day, he's doing his own thing. It shouldn't stop him from doing what he wants to do. It just doesn't mean that fans are guaranteed to liking it, right? He's getting roasted in the replies. I wasn't a huge fan of how Darnell Nurse responded to those questions, but I also don't think Bieksa was wrong, especially when you throw Spec into the mix of who represents Edmonton's media. Yeah, both things can be true. The Edmonton media is horrendous for asking some of the dumbest questions every single day, and Darnell Nurse was not showing any form of leadership in that interview with his rude responses. What bothered me was that all the questions were about Broberg, and instead of giving actual praise to Broberg, Nurse was just being obnoxious and rude. This is what I like about Ekholm. No matter the situation, he will always give high praise to his teammates. It's the sign of true leadership in my opinion. Absolutely love Ekholm. True, but I mean, anyone would be pissy at questions being asked only about a person who's potentially taking your ice time because you have been sucking. So this is another one of these things that I think is probably going to boil over the next few days, but it is interesting to note just the social media outcry to all this because, yeah, as we had said, Jason Gregor is getting absolutely cooked here in the replies. Even all the quote tweets and everything, everybody's just clowning around on this dude. In a way, validating Kevin Bieksa's point that the Edmonton media is meat. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about how all this relates to Darnell Nurse and his poor play in this series, his plus-minus, his own zone defensive responsibility, and how it's not looking all too great, how his ice time is getting replaced by a guy that he was asked a ton of questions about, and where this plays into the Edmonton drama over the last little while here. Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.